Oh, good morning. Top of the morning to you. Get a little jump on the day before the swarms of mosquitoes got out here and before the day got really super hot. I think it's going to be a warm one today. So the other day, I get a little, I'm going to call it a friendly message, even though it didn't seem that way, in my YouTube email box, basically saying, well, you never do anything modern, blah 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 blah, your channel's boring. That's fine, that's your opinion. But that's not true. I do plenty of modern things, and you just don't see them because everybody and their brother is doing probably the same thing on YouTube, so I don't see any real reason to add to the fracas. Anyway, the other day I stopped in at Radio Shack and I noticed they had these little kits. This is the Raspberry Pi kit from Make, and I don't get anything from Make, even though if they want to send me a few dollars for plugging their product, that'd be great. But I bet $1, which I will lose, I'll never hear from them. Anyway, this is on sale right now at Radio Shack. They're about 90 some dollars. I want to say 97, but I'm thinking 92. Anyway, I actually got this for about 80 some dollars. I had a coupon for $10 off. Radio Shack's got some sort of a thing for every 30 bucks you spend, you get a $10 coupon up to $100. So you can't have more than 3 coupons at a time. And you gotta wait a couple days to use the coupon. No big deal. I bought something there the other day and just happened to notice this, and I had the coupon in my billfold. This looked fun to play with. It's pretty modern. I don't know. It doesn't have a vacuum tube, although I bet I could add one. Anyway, I thought we'd just take this baby apart. This is one of those annoying unboxings that YouTube seems to be plagued with. I've been thinking about buying one of these for a long time. Now, there's a little trick, and you'll have to bear with me for a tiny bit. You can get one of these computers pretty reasonable. You can get the Raspberry Pi for about 35 bucks. I think there are 2 versions. I think there's a $25 version and a $30 version, and that may have changed. That's been a while since I've seen one. But all you get is the computer. Now the kit has a few other things. This has enough stuff to actually get you started and do a few things. If you just order the Raspberry Pi, literally all you get is the Raspberry Pi, and you know they say, well, it's as big as a credit card. Well, it's bigger than a credit card, but not by much. It's just a little tiny computer, and it has some peripheral stuff. I think that's a ribbon for I want to say a standard like kind of LCD display. There's a HDMI connector or a composite video connector. You can use either one. There's an audio out jack. I don't think it has audio in. And there's a little power plug there. It's like a USB type power plug. And Ethernet, amazingly enough. And then 2 USB connectors. And on the back there's also a little kind of what looks like might be a place for a header there and there, and a place for an SD card. Now in this, that's all you get if you buy it. So your $35 computer, unless you've got all this other stuff, is $35 plus shipping, useless garbage. And they used to not go out of their way to tell you that. Now that may have changed. Anyway, with this kit you get the Raspberry Pi, you get a little SD card with a cool snappy logo on it. I believe this has what's called the Noobs software on it. Anyway, it would just plug in there. And apparently you get, what's this, Raspberry compliance and safety, who cares? Apply this. You get a decent book, so that's 35 bucks. The SD card, I think, was about, well, last I seen it was £4, which I think is about $8. Let's just say $10. So there's $45 for the stuff. There's a book from the Make magazine, $15. So we're up to 55 bucks basically. And propaganda and more propaganda. That's okay. And a big bag of parts. So what do we got in here? Okay, they give you an HDMI connector, a pretty short one to connect to your television or your monitor, but you're going to have the HDMI connector. So that's useful, but not probably, I don't know, $5. So what are we up to here? Let's see, 40, 50, 65. So we got about just $70 there roughly. And here's a power cord that you'll need to power the thing up. You know, if you don't have this stuff at home, then you're gonna buy it or hunt it down. Plus the time you wasted to hunt it down. That's why I just opted to buy the kit. So let's just say another. You know, here's a power pack. I don't know. Let's just say another $5. You know. Then there's a whole bunch of other intriguing little trinkets here. Here's a little proto board, which is kind of interesting because this one's clear. I'm used to there were some old white ones they made years ago. Apparently it's double stick tape. I don't know, probably another 10. Here's something that you're going to probably eventually want to get if you get a Raspberry Pi. It's probably something you ought to get right away and just beat the rush and order it. Is a case for the thing. And this will keep the thing from getting banged around and beat up. These are about, I don't know, $10, I think. So we've already surpassed what I paid for the kit. Here's some more. Here's another little proto board and a bunch of components. So there's, I don't know, there's a switch and some jumpers. I don't know, let's just see. And the mosquitoes are bad this year. I don't know, another $10. So we're up over 100. There's a cable. Well, that's not just a cable. It's a cable and a little header. Well, trust me, there's some pins under there. I'm not going to tear it off. So there's another $10. Then there's a whole crap load of really nice little jumper wires to prototype something on your board. And those are actually pretty nice. They got a nice feel to them. And then that cool hip bag to put all your toys in. So, I don't know, I think one of these kits at Radio Shack is about $130. There's probably about $130 worth of stuff there. I have to apologize for those of you who don't live in, I'll make an assumption here, live in North America. I don't know if this kit is available unless you order it, so you're going to, pay another, I don't know, another $10 shipping. So I don't know if Radio Shack has other stores in other countries. I assume they do. Guess we'll find out. So theoretically, everything is here to fire up the Raspberry Pi. But we just, for the fun of it, step through that. Now I know there's 100 different there's 100 different videos about how to do this, and that's fine. Mine is going to be, literally out of the box and what I might run into. I theoretically shouldn't run into any trouble, but I don't know. We'll see how to use the book. Now I'll tell you a little, it's not a secret, but I'll tell you a little, maybe a hint. You can get this book online, and you probably could get it for free if you were maybe a little unscrupulous. Most books nowadays of any value are turned into PDFs. Now I don't know whether the PDF is available for free or not, but I've seen it, and I did download it. And my personal opinion is it's not a bad book. And actually, my suggestion is if you download it for free and you like the book, I would go purchase it or purchase the kit. You know, somebody spent time making this, you know, and putting it all together. So you're kind of, if you download it for free and don't pay for it, you're kind of screwing them, which isn't cool. Now, on the flip side of that coin, it would be, in my opinion, it would be cool if they provided the book as a download for some amount of money, and you just picked, you know, $10, no more than $15, but as little as $5. That would be cool. There's some people that can't afford $15. You know, that's maybe a whole week's worth of lunch, or a little more. Could be a couple weeks worth of meals. The Raspberry Pi doesn't have its own operating system. It's just the hardware. The operating system is on the SD card. And on this card, the preloaded one, what they call a noob's card, you can pick what kind of an operating system you run. Now my suggestion is you either download the noob's image, or I believe you can just copy and store the information off here, because what's going to happen is when I fire this up, it'll present me with a menu and ask me to pick what operating system I want, and then it'll rework the card and then basically blast that kind of pre-installer menu off of there. Not that that's critical, but I always like kind of keeping the original stuff together in case I need to back up or something. You could download the image. The other thing you could do is just go get an SD card. I think they want to, I want to say they wanted a class 10, which is a pretty new SD card, pretty quick. But I don't know if that's 10 meg or 8 meg. And I think the Raspberry Pi itself has about 500 meg, 512 meg of onboard memory. Okie dokie. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do something useful besides gib gab about all this, and let's see what the book actually says. It just talks about the board. There are some surface mount LEDs on here. If you're unfamiliar with circuit boards and you're just fiddling with this, try and treat that gingerly and try not to handle it too much till you get your case built. The OS that they'd like you to use is a Debian distribution they call Rasputin, and that's probably what I'll play with just to get started. Well, I'll tell you what, let's see what lurks inside this little bag. Now there's a couple, well, there's a screw and a nut, and I think there's another screw. Actually, there's a bunch of screws in there. There's a couple more nuts. Big cookie sheet would be great to dump all this out on. That way the parts won't go flying. You know, for a box, it looks like there's more than 6 parts there. Okay. How clever it has the make logo. So what do we got here? Well, looks like we got 6 sides. And 4 screws. Okay. Just set that off to the side there. So what do we got here? There's a side. And another side. And this is actually somewhat decent plastic. I don't know if they want you to... It looks like it has some paper on it to keep you from screwing it up. I don't know what this is. What do we got here? So these are ends, these are sides. These are tops and bottoms. Looks like this just all kind of interlocks together. Now, somewhere on the Raspberry Pi are 4 screws, but I don't see anywhere that those lock into the thing. Apparently we have our first bit of trouble here. I don't know how this... Does this just snap together? Let's see here. It looks like the ends go on there, and SD card, power. Okay. I don't see anything about what those screws do. And I've done nothing about reading instructions, so this will just, we'll just tough this out. So it looks like the top and the bottom and the M-bells go on first, the skinny ones. Not really impressed with this. And that's the other side. And what do we got here? It's the HDMI side. They may want you to like super glue this together. Yeah. Okay, this sort of works. It's sort of a kludgy way. Oh, the cable can come out that little notch. We'll worry about that later. Okay, it's okay. I don't know what the screws do. I don't think the book said anything about it. It talked about it getting a case, and it didn't say anything. The case, what do we got here? Bunch of pre-made cases, colorful option. Here it says you can download it for a laser printer or 3D. So there's a 3D printer version of that case somewhere. How clever. It says absolutely nothing about how to assemble that. Maybe there's an appendix. There is an appendix in the back of this book. This book is about 150 pages. Okay, well, I guess a cable tie would go around there. A little disappointed in that. I don't know what screws are. They look like they're nice screws. I don't know. So we're off to a roaring start. There's some URL on there. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to go in. There are these slots. Oh. Here we go. Duh. Okay, that's kind of clever. I'll give them that. Too bad they didn't put the instructions on there. Hang on a tick. I'll be back. Okay, well, decided to come in the house because it's heating up out there exponentially. Anyway, what happens here is on the case, the screws go in the side and this nut goes in there, and then you get out your handy dandy little screwdriver and you just carefully tighten that and it sucks that up there. That slot is narrow enough to capture that little nut, and then you're all set there. Okay, so then you need to get your SD card ready. If you got the kit, all you do is plug it in. Now remember that this doesn't have the ejectee type card, and it only goes in one way. It goes in facing the fingers, kind of facing toward the center. You're actually installing this on the bottom of the card. So you'll need your video connector, keyboard, mouse, and power. And we'll go hook that up and see what happens.